Hello, everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where we have the discussions that inform, entertain, and empower educators to be the change. I am your host, Dr. Will, and I am here again with Dr. Shawn Clark and Brady Venables. After our last discussion, you checked out that podcast. If you know, look, I'm going to link it out. You're going to check it out again. We had a great discussion, and they wanted to go at it again, and they wanted that real back and forth. So they asked for it tonight. They're going to get it. We will be talking about a lot of things, and I have particularly different views because I did not come up the ranks as an educator, being trained in the typical fashion. So it's going to be, hopefully you'll find this conversation interesting. How are you doing, ladies? Are you having a good evening?
Well, with that intro, we're a little bit scared.
Some nerves.
You shouldn't be.
No,
Good time. Now, for those who are watching, will you introduce yourself?
I'm Shawn Clark, and I'm a transformation coach for the State Department of Education. Previous educator, previous principal for a decade at a middle school. I've only worked in Title I schools and districts, and a former high school dropout that's passionate about changing education.
And I am Brady Venables, and I'm currently a technology integration specialist. I work at the district level in a district with about 40 schools, and I support technology coaches who are based in those school sites.
Okay, I do not know what happened to my screen. It's black all of a sudden.
Looks like it's back.
You're back.
Okay. Well, I can't see myself at all. So that might be a problem because it's like.
We can see you. That was beautiful.
Well, thank you, but I'm gonna have to end this show, and I don't have a screen to get to hit the cancel button. What has happened?
Is there a tech specialist in the room? Is there a tech specialist? Is there someone with a doctorate in technology?
The doctorate is in ed leadership. Wow, this is crazy.
Oh, we got a close-up of you right now. Don't go too close.
See, she trying to throw shade. She trying to throw shade.
It's dark. It's orange.
All right, so hopefully this will be the end button right here because I have this thing. So I'm gonna try to go here because I can't see anything. I've heard this before. People on Twitter, and you have this question here, is about the need for Edtech coaches. Should they exist? What say you?
What say us?
Yes.
Let me let Brady start with, should we have tech coaches? And I'm going to add to that.
Okay, so this is kind of a weird question for me because, as I mentioned, I'm a technology integration specialist, so you could call me a tech coach, and I've certainly been in that role directly with teachers, and now I'm in that role with technology coaches. So I certainly I'm very appreciative of the work that the people I support do, and obviously I value the work that I do. But our end goal is that we need to work ourselves out of a job, and we need to work ourselves out of a job fast. Because I think that the label of ed tech coach, that tech coach part, putting that label on that support person in the school confines and limits the way that teacher support a teacher. And it's 2017. We need to be using our limited resources to support all of instruction, and technology is here to stay. And I know you've said that it's not going anywhere. It is a basic bare minimum requirement in many classes. And ideally, all the teachers would have that foundational knowledge, which is really the most important thing to talk about with teachers.
And we'd be talking about learning coach. So imagine if it was just tech transformation coach, it would limit me. I wouldn't be able to just work with technology, or I don't only work with the math teachers. I'm not a math coach. It embodies all different. It is about the learning.
We don't have paper coaches,
We don't have paper coaches.
foldable coaches, textbook coaches.
You do. You call them math coaches.
Well, you know, funny you should mention a math coach, because was it last night or 2 nights ago? We were talking and I just asked a question because I've never worked in a building where there was a math coach. So I was like, what's the point of the math coach? Is it like math across the curriculum and they're coaching every teacher grading math, or are they just working with math teachers? And so she enlightened me that that math coach works with 4 math teachers or 6 math teachers. And that just blew my mind to have a person with such a narrow focus when all teachers need great support.
Well, the issue becomes about who is the SME, the subject matter expert. And no one can be all things to all people, and no one can have the expertise in every area. And so that math coach would be that person who has that expertise, that strength, that knowledge, that background in math, versus you say you have an ELA coach or even a tech coach to be able to work with teachers, because even athletes have various coaches that work with them. They don't have just one person that helps guide them to be better.
So are you saying that that's necessary, that you feel like having subject specific coaches is the right thing to do, or something that needs to stay around?
Yes, because at a certain point, let's say my level of math understanding kind of drops off. So I can work with the teacher in doing certain lessons using, various tools. But if that teacher said, okay, teach something in trigonometry, well, I'm the wrong person on that. But that math coach who would presumably have that knowledge in trigonometry would be able to walk that teacher through how to sort of teach certain concepts. Having someone with that expert level.
Okay, so this is an example. So that teacher, that math teacher, why, and you're a tech specialist, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why couldn't that math teacher just Google vector calculus or something to that effect, or go to Sal Khan's resources and get the content or the special instruction for that, how to teach that formula, or how better to teach that? Why do you need a math coach to do that?
Because math coaches, let's say for my district, have specialized training and receive training in other programs or that we purchase, and are able to again, work with teachers, better prepare them to understand the concepts, be able to look at data in a certain way that, again, when I go with teachers, when we talk about data, it's on a different level than, let's say, the math coach or the ELA coach, or even the academic coach. When they go into, let's say, NWA data, they get really deep into it. So whether we're talking about a student growth report, or you're talking about the I can't think of the thing right now, because y'all got me on blast right now. But where students are going up for their growth, or they can show greater growth, or whatever these things. Oh, see, I'm messing up. We're live. But when people have a greater understanding of specific things, they bring different things to the table. And so, let me ask you this, since you're asking me all these things. Why do you think one person can know it all and do it all?
Okay, so you're about to wait. Let me make this point. So I've been a principal for a decade, okay? And was I the expert at U.S. history? So when I observed, would I be able to recognize that something was awry in the content? No. I barely remember any history. I'm comfortable with Algebra 1, but not too far beyond that. So sure, I could give feedback about content, instruction, with that. Do we require principals, who are the #1 evaluators in your building, to have that subject-specific knowledge? And are they doing a disservice that they don't have it? So I did like Seinfeld and Costanza. I answered a question with a question. Is that good?
I hear what you're saying, but you know it's very interesting with educators and their degrees. Most often you will find when teachers start to get advanced degrees, a lot of them don't get it in that subject area.
Right.
You know, they will get it in more in administration, or they will get it in a lot of them now starting to, look at instructional technology and ed technologies, those sort of things. But again, that's not anyone going further and deeper into that subject area and learning that knowledge from perspective to where I think being that expert they should be. And that's where, again, that academic, that math coach who has that level of expertise, that understanding of math on a certain type of level, is able to work with teachers to not only look at data a certain way, understand data a certain way, but then look at that data and say, from looking at these standards in math, this is how you are better able to teach these concepts, these standards to students.
But I would argue that a strong instructional coach could walk into that classroom, and if they are a strong instructional coach, you don't need to know any math. In fact, you don't need to know any answers. All you need to know are the right questions to ask. And so I have no discomfort with walking into a second grade classroom or a 12th grade classroom as a technology coach, observing what's going on and asking reflective questions of the teachers so that the teachers go through that thought process about how did it work? How do I know if the kids met the objective? Did I have a clear objective? What is going to build on this tomorrow? It's never about me telling anyone how to do it better. And we know as technology coaches, we cannot keep up on the technology. There's a new app, there's a new website released constantly. I let go of that a long time ago, that I was going to know every app and every program or whatever, because I'll never know it. But what I can do more consistently is provide coaching questions. So I guess we may have a differing opinion about what a coach is and what a coach does. And in your mind, it sounds like a coach is more like a consultant. They are a consultant and will have a large body of knowledge. Can you hear my dog?
Yes.
He's about to jump out.
And I'm getting so emotional about this. And I see a coach as a questioner, as a poker and a prodder and a reflector. Yeah, and I'm okay with not knowing the answers, and because I know the questions.
And Dr. Will, I don't have to know about dogs to know that beast is about to jump out and attack me.
Well, I understand, and here's the thing, because I was reading something in Clo magazine, which is a corporate trainer magazine, but they talked about two things in terms of the work sort of we do, is sometimes you're the consultant, teaching concepts and offering advice, and sometimes you have to be the coach where you are asking questions. And it helps having a certain, again, subject area knowledge, in my opinion, to be that coach, because I think it better helps you ask certain questions because you have a certain understanding an experience that you are drawing from.
We don't disagree that it helps. Of course it helps, but we don't think we don't think it is changing the end result and boosting student achievement to only have that content knowledge or that subject specific knowledge. But yeah, of course it helps.
What I worry about ed tech coaches in particular is that when you have that label of tech coach, it gives teachers to inform themselves about best practice and best strategy. So if you say, oh, I have a tech, I need to spend time going after PD about technology because I have a tech coach and she's going to have PD once a quarter and I'm going to get my tech PD that way. Yeah. I fear that title could limit a teacher's propensity towards action to take ownership. I think that a lot of us that are currently tech specialists or tech coaches are largely self-trained. We started using technology in the classroom before higher ed programs existed about ed technology. I mean, we figured it out on our own. And I think all teachers can do that too. But if you have a resource, I don't know for sure, but I do worry that that would make a teacher resistant to improving their self-knowledge on their own.
I like that you said we are tech specialists, because even though I don't have the title, I think I'm a tech specialist too. Thank you. Okay.
But here's,
You know, we.
we're talking about building capacity.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So what I do with teachers, of course, I ask them questions. I challenge them to get to the next level. If I see a teacher is doing something, and I say, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Have you thought about this? My goal is always in getting teachers to take greater ownership, and even working with them to define their why and define their own professional goals, so that we can work together towards getting them where they want to be. So I'm all about developing people and not just trying to, sell a tool or sell a program.
Right.
It's not going to work. If they use it, it'll be out of compliance. But I want them themselves to say, all right, it's game time, and I want my students to accomplish this. How can I get there? And when the teachers I work with that have taken that ownership and they want to be better, it's been awesome. But again, for me, it's always been about, building capacity in people instead of just, hey, we pay for this tool. I want to see 20 minutes a day.
Right.
That's fantastic.
All right. So since I don't even know if I need to ask this question now. We have ISTE. I think FETC is changing their name now, the Shift in EDU or something like that. TCEA, EduCon. Do we need EdTech conferences?
Go ahead.
Teachers have a lot of fun at EdTech conferences. Teachers enjoy them. They're well attended. They come back invigorated and inspired, and they come back ready to try something new. And almost that in and of itself is the most valuable experience that comes out of attending any conference, is when a teacher comes back refreshed, ready to take a leap, ready to be brave, and ready to try something they learned. I think technology coaches could do a good job of requiring the presenters to set what they present on within the context of a classroom. I'm not a fan of the 60 tools in 60 minutes type presentation. I'm not a fan of either highly generalized or highly specific presentations. I am a fan of presentations where the tools are set within a context of instruction, the purpose is talked about, and the connection to learning objectives is explicit. However, I will say in my experience attending the conferences, I find that type to be rare. I find them to be very tool-based and rather than pedagogy-based. So EdTech conferences, they're as needed as any conference when it comes to energizing teachers and getting teachers excited about teaching again. But I do think that we could all improve a little more with the type of presentations we're doing for our teachers and ensuring that we're setting them in the appropriate frame.
And starting with the why, we wrote a blog not long ago, something to the effect of, we don't give a hoot about Kahoot, because we don't want it to be about the tool. And here we have a special series on our blog called #Don'tBeATool. And I'm the biggest tool on the block. I seek out the latest tool. I like people, but we always rein each other in on, it's not about that. She helps me keep my why in check. And yeah, we're a little frustrated with going to conferences where it literally is our presentation on Kahoot.
Okay, now here's the situation. I hear what you're saying, but do you know why the conferences you just spoke of the lessons and the standards and all that, do you know why those don't happen? because no one wants to go to those sessions.
Because teachers don't go. I know.
But I'm just saying that they don't want to go.
Teachers love the 60 tools in 60 minutes. Those sessions are busting at the seams, standing.
I thought the iPhone 8 was about to be released. They got a line.
Hey, well, we did a fake title and set up something a little bit about tools, but then we bink snuck in the back door about the formula for change. Mm-hmm. We had a big crowd because they thought they were coming there to learn 5 of our biggest tools. But again, we flipped the script and we focus on change theory behind it, but then we tools in order to reflect on the change theory. So we weaseled it in.
You pulled a bait and switch?
Yeah, bait and switch, yes.
Okay. Now, here's the deal. If you are going to an EdTech conference, I expect those conferences because that's just the name of the game. And a lot of EdTech conferences I have been to, the teachers there who go are not the average teacher you need to talk into using technology.
Right. So why are they going?
Because they want to learn the new stuff. They want to get the experience. They want to be able to, especially let's say ISTE, for example, right? That Bloggers Cafe is golden because the people you get to meet and then ask them questions about their practice.
Network. Yeah, when you showed up late to the networking thing at Starbucks. Yeah, we do like the networking. We do like the networking aspect.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, that's why they go because, because I've been to EdTech conferences and I've been to non-EdTech conferences. And generally speaking, the non-EdTech conferences I've gone to, they don't have very much EdTech there or technology there at all. And so when I go to those conferences and I present, you would think I'm Ron Clark or somebody. My room is packed.
Ron
packed. Because look, I'm just throwing a name out there because a man pull a crowd. But I'm just saying that the room is packed because they don't have those sessions and they're craving that content, right? Because those are not there. Versus, let's say you go to ISTE, everyone. Now, there are probably some newcomers there, some people who are like, hey, I've never heard of ISTE. Let me go check this out. But when I'm there, it's like, if you've been, it's like one big old EdTech party. Right. And the sessions, I've always, I've gone to a session and I was like, okay, this is real cool. Now, some stuff I'm going to be able to take and some stuff I'm going to be like, all right, I wasn't good for me, but whatever. But I think they exist because, again, you're bringing a certain group of people together who want to learn from each other, who want to grow from each other, and they get what they want to get. Because not everybody wants to, if I already got my thing down in terms of I know my standards, okay, I know how to group my kids, I know how to my workflow, I know how to set up my classroom, what I want. A 60 app in 60 minutes, there might be 5 apps that I go, gotcha, boom. Now I know what I'm about to do right now. I'm about to wreck shop. I'm good.
Because you have that background knowledge.
I already had the background knowledge. I already had the experience. My classroom is popping. Now, if I have troubles in those areas, EdTech conference may not be for you because you're more than likely not going to get a certain type of session. But I do think they fit a specific person and specific type of educators.
Let me just say, I will be presenting at ISTE this summer, so I hope all the viewers are going to come to my session, which is called The Internet is Full of Answers. Do you know how to find them? So I haven't told you at all what, there's plenty of tech tools in my session, but I haven't told you at all what the tech tools are because it's about questioning, asking students the right questions, getting kids to ask their own questions. And then the second step is there's way more to Google than just Google. And so then the second step of how to actually use the internet to your advantage to synthesize knowledge comes in. But come to my session. Internet's full of answers.
I hear you. So I'm looking for some more answers now. When you're talking about, let's sort of follow your train of thought and what's missing at these EdTech conferences. When we are talking about educational technology and all that thing, are we talking about the technology, or are we talking about learning?
I mean, what I see the most when I go to sessions about tools is that is at the forefront. Learning is almost like in the background. And I don't hear them talk about measurable outcomes with their students. And I know that technology is not all about that. It's not all about standardized test measures or outcomes like that. But I mean, I don't hear that in the forefront. And do you always hear that? Do you seem like that's the message that's put out?
I don't know,
I'm not getting that.
I'm thinking through a process right now, and maybe there's this basic understanding that the people that do these tool-based presentations, maybe they just give the attendees more credit than we are, that the attendees will self-construct and self-create that learning background. And so they're not spelling it out for the attendees. They're just putting the ball in the attendees' court saying, I'm going to introduce you to this tool and you're the expert and you'll fill out the framework. But that does affirm your point that they're still not talking about it.
Right.
But maybe they're not because they're assuming the attendees will fill it out. Now, does that happen? I'm not sure.
And isn't making assumptions dangerous at times? You know that little saying.
No, what is it?
Oh, I don't know. I think it should be brought up regardless of the focus, whether it's on tools or not. It should always be about the teaching and the learning. And what's the purpose behind
the tools are going to change.
Right.
I mean, you're going to be using Zaption one day and then the next day
gone. I cried when Zaption left.
So we have to make sure that the point we get across is why you would use a Zaption.
And hashtag don't be, and don't be a tool belt either.
Oh, no, you didn't.
We heard Catlin.
The tool belt.
Yeah, we heard her.
That's awesome. I get what you're saying. I mean, look, I do sessions. I've presented at all kind of places, and I do, when I'm covering the tool, I do cover it in the context of creating a learning experience, and not just, hey, push this button, push that button, push this button, push that button. I'd be bored myself doing that for an hour, but I do sort of, you have to strike a balance of trying to highlight the tool versus doing it in a way in which, okay, you're talking about the learning experience, you're talking about what you can do. But so, for example, you talk about the Zaption, when you talk about, hey, with this, you can create videos that deliver, some guided practice for students. You can use it for direct instruction, or, hey, let's let a kid watch the video, pop some questions in so you can do a quick formative assessment. Those are things that you bring up for teachers to sort of get them there. But I'm not going to try to deconstruct the standard, when I'm trying to deliver that session, because one, that's not the venue for it. And two, I don't think those teachers are there for that information. I think teachers who want to learn that other information aren't trying to go to ISTE or EduCon. They're trying to go to an ASCD or some other place.
That's a good point. It does matter about a person's purpose.
Right. And meeting the learner where they're at. If you know that's what your audience is all about, well then I guess you are working towards the strengths of that particular audience.
But mainly we want to change what the audience is all about.
Yeah. We just want to change the audience.
That's how we roll.
And hey, so we taught a graduate course about technovating. And the thing we got the most positive feedback on is that we met the learner where they were because we gave them time to play, to actually put the tool to good use, surrounded by or enveloped in our content. We know that there are tech specialists and innovative educators out there that think if they want to know more, hello, the internet's out there. And we do believe that too. Like, we don't like to spoon pictures on our presentations that say no spoon feeding. However, giving someone the opportunity to play with it and learn how it can actually meet the learner where they are too. I mean, I think that's valuable. Don't you?
Yes, I mean, and it just like it is with kids, it's the same kind of concept. And, you know, I guess what really we're talking about is that the role of the tech coach has to change very often. You know, what you might do with one person can't be the same with another person, and the level of support you give one person may be different from another person, because teachers aren't all the same, and they're not all ready for the same. So it's important to have those skills to differentiate. But I do prefer to send a YouTube link on how to use EduCreations than to spend an hour pointing and clicking just for efficiency.
But some kids need you to point and click.
And I do it with a smile on my face. You should see me.
Well, I do it all. And it all depends upon my relationship with the teacher. Because I know which teachers that if I sent them a quick link, they're good. But then there's other teachers, we're going to sit down on Monday. We're going to sit down on Wednesday. We're going to sit down on Friday. So, I mean, that's where I come in terms of, we say, okay, the EdTech coach and all these things. And because you mentioned earlier, not everyone learns the same. Not everyone gets to the same. And some people, I don't want to say they want their hand held, but some people want that support and they want to feel comfortable before they take that leap.
And they want to feel successful.
But my question is, do they, because you exist with that label, or if you didn't exist in that space, would they go after it themselves? That's my essential question. Close support because it's available. Because without it, they'd go after it. But because they know it's an option, you know, it's like when I used to go to the gym. I don't go anymore, but I used to do those assisted pull-ups where it would like make you feel a little lighter than you actually were when you were doing a pull-up. And because like lifts you up. And because I knew that was available, I never could pull up my whole weight because I always
push-up bra, like support.
Like what?
So inappropriate. Because it was there, I limited myself. Because it was there, I limited myself.
And I do that to you in our relationship. I've had her work out something on Snapchat. I was trying to do a book snap and the picture would not orient, but the other one did fine. So I used her this morning. I was like, can you just do this? I would have done it myself and figured it out if she wasn't there to enable me. So I mean, that's a real issue.
Well, I don't know if a teacher would go after it on their own if I didn't exist,
right?
Or because I exist, they're there for that support. And quite honestly, I think more often it's because I exist, and they know that I am there to be with them. And because we have that relationship, they feel comfortable in saying what they don't know and what they need assistance in. And then particularly if you don't know what you don't know, or you don't know what you want to know or need to know, a Google search, best, time, effort, putting effort in time. Yeah, I say that. Yeah.
That's a great point about not knowing what you need to know. Because you have to open that door a little bit before a teacher can charge on through. But I just hope one day all instructional leaders will consider EdTech as non-optional, and therefore be well-versed in it.
And you won't exist, my dear friend.
And I worry that the label makes it optional or an add-on. And I think it's essential. It's non-negotiable. There's no EdTech coaches when she got her new iPhone 7 2 days ago.
Oh my God. And Verizon certainly wasn't an EdTech coach.
Well, I mean, but you do have places like Verizon and the Apple Store, and even Best Buy is doing at some stores where they do have these sessions and lessons, on, how to use, this technology. I'm with you in terms of, look, technology is a non-negotiable, but when you bring up that phone, you bring up something that has been my greatest problem with K through 12 education is in our lives outside of school, we have just accepted technology as this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And so no one ever says, oh, with my iPhone or my Android phone, I have a calendar in here. I can take notes. I can take pictures and video and all this stuff. No one even thinking about who says, unless they are a professional photographer, who out there says, man, I got to go buy me a camera. They got a phone.
Yeah.
When you are like, I want me a little snack, no one thinks how I'm going to do it. I got a microwave.
Right.
DVR, man, I'm gonna sit here and watch all my shows, my Netflix. I'm getting that marathon. And they don't even think about it because it's such a part of their lives. It's just that in the classroom, it's special.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's an add-on. It's something extra, which it shouldn't be. It should be a natural extension of what you do every day. And that's the one thing that chaps my hide. He's on fire over there, or she.
Start up by those cell phones and BYOD.
But yeah, when you see someone and they go like, for real? Like they just take it for granted. And I just thing on my tagline on my email now, and it says that we are teaching the screenager generation.
Yes, I saw you say that.
Yes, the computer is their paper and pencil. And those are the students we work with. That's the reality. That's what they live in. You hear teachers on Twitter and all over the place, like the kids on the phone in my class, they're on the phone in the hallway. Mm-hmm. Because it just, they don't even look at this thing as something different. And so that's where the technology for me needs to come. As you mentioned earlier, it's just a non-negotiable, just a part of our everyday existence.
And I got to add about the cell phones, about devices. Classroom lately that I didn't see a teacher with this hand, which I think they should have it in their hand. So, I mean, we're not modeling the way we're using it.
Well, I have mine on me, but I like to, when I go in class, I like to take photos of some wonderful things that I see and I tweet it out, sharing.
Right, because your phone serves a purpose.
Yeah. So that's what I do. That's what I do. So before we go, this has been an interesting conversation. I have no idea what people are going to think of it as they are watching it or listening.
Let us know. The people need to let us know. Because we're
go to
our thoughts,
Go to Brady's session at ISTE.
I do want to show you one thing that I wrote on the back of my notebook. Can you see that? It's probably backwards.
My screen is black. I can't see anything.
It says, uncomfortable conversations bring about change. So you've got to get into that discomfort or change will never happen. I mean, it's no fun to have pleasantries all the time. I mean, it is fun, but it certainly doesn't bring about change. So it's okay.
And disagreement is not dysfunction. Even though we're a little dysfunctional. But it's okay to disagree.
I'm good.
Dr. Will.
I'm good. Yeah, hey, thank you for coming on the show. Those who are watching, this is going up on my blog. I'm going to pop this bad boy on SoundCloud audio version. So if you're working out, you want some inspiration that's there for you. Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Twitter. I'm doing this. I will not be going to ISTE this year. I'll be at model schools.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll be presenting and podcasting from the as well. Yeah, I'm trying to make it come up.
One-upping me. There you go.
I'm not one-upping you. It is a hard nut to crack in terms of getting a session
Yes, it is.
accepted. So hey, there's no one up. You're doing it yourself.
Nutcracker.
So people, as always, invest in you. EDU. Peace. All right. The show has stopped recording. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't been able to see y'all this whole airing. Hey, man.
It's posting this shit.